piece is entitled Her Story. A woman's soul is the alpha of life. She goes beyond the duty of mother and wife. Her blood, her story, she the sacrifice so that the nation remains not having to pay the price. Women worldwide are etched in history, shattering barriers despite adversity. But some rather keep the truth shrouded in mystery. Free spirit suppressed in this macho society. Their voices gone, transformed into objects, but these very same objects save many men from their nonsense. They say when you educate a woman, you educate the nation. Well, Malala paid the price for that education. With a bullet to the head, they left her for dead. I am Malala, I am Malala, I am Malala, the world chants instead. Maya Angelou, I know why the cage bird sings. Woman power, girl power is now a universal thing that every woman can be queen with or without a king. We just gotta let them fly even with broken wings. Each woman the future, but we apply that to the present. We work in the now to enjoy the fruits of accomplishments. Our mothers, wives, sisters, daughters, and friends will forever be our heroines. Beb Smith got you to laugh and they make a whole pile of knives. Sarah and Dudu darling, you can't imitate even if you try. Marie Sharp, her products are my choice. Her pepper got my rice and beans to taste nice. I stand on the foundation these women built. Unmoved like Rosa Parks, a thought then sparked. Rosa sat so that Martin could walk. So bear that in mind the next time you hear Dr. King talk. Rising powers to all my sisters who fought for my freedom, because without you, drivers of change, my life, this poem, would never be born.
Had it. That was our opening performance. We will have more as well. Just a taste of what you will be able to see and hear at Dunsate this Saturday night. I have with me on set Adele Ramos, who is no stranger to anyone, but here today is a poet and writer. And we have returning to us in quite a while. We haven't had you on set in a while, Briheda Haylock. And here as well in your capacity as a spoken word artist. Yes. And Kyo D Assassin back with us. Last time we had you, it was about love and Valentine's Day. All right. But good morning and welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
And before we move into the details of the extravaganza itself, I kind of just want to talk about your own individual work as writers, spoken word artists, or poets, whatever you go by. And what you find is your inspiration for the work that you want to output and share. Who wants to go first? Kyo, since you just...
Yes.
The sacrificial poet.
Yeah.
My inspiration comes from everyday life experiences, and I just try to apply that to my work. I try to, as poets, we are like griots, so we are like we watch our society and we document everything. So we're like historians, we're griots, and we try to say what the voices try to say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, with my work, I talk about what's happening in the country and, challenging Belizeans about what they're doing and what they are, encouraging molestation. It's happening, why don't you say something? Domestic violence, it's happening, why don't you fight for someone who is afraid? It's all about educating about how to be free, because I have my own struggles and learning about what freedom is, what self-love is. That's what I want to promote through my art. And it's also a good reflection for society to see exactly who you are, because it's not a pretty place. It is not.
Yeah. And for you, Adele?
Well, my inspiration comes from various sources. I've written a lot about personal experiences or experiences that are common to us as human beings, and specifically as Belizeans.
Yeah.
And the reason why I even thought about putting this show together was because I wanted to do something to inspire change. Poetry, yes, it's an art form. Yes, it's our passion.
Yeah.
But there's also a sense of purpose in it.
Yeah.
Why do you do it? Why do you share it?
Yeah.
And so for us as poets, you know, yes, we have our our pieces that talk about love, I'm sure,
Yeah.
you know, or about our own personal pain, but the pain of our society, the pain of Belize is also
Yeah.
our pain. And I wrote a poem many years ago called Poets Healing Belize, and it says that they wrap her body in poetic verse and soothe her pain with their lyrical rhymes. And you know, it's what we do as poets, because sometimes people can't express themselves. You're feeling it, but you can't express it. And you know, to know that a poet can put that in words and have that connection with you and encourage that connection as a society, it's a really powerful thing.
Absolutely. And you know, I think one of the things we've seen consistently from the three of you and the other spoken word artists that we've seen on this show is that it is an outlet for you to express, whether it be frustration, whether you want to pose a challenge to society, but all about very real things that are happening.
Exactly.
I have a thing I see on the show all the time. In Belize, we really struggle to look in the mirror. We really we don't look at it, we avoid it, and in fact, if anybody tells us what's in the mirror, we get upset.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But we have to. And I find that the work, the art that you produce is really forcing us to hold it up. And for many, it can be cathartic to hear that what you were saying is what we've been feeling or what we've been thinking. With that, it means that there has to be an outlet for people to be able to hear it. How often do you find yourself in an opportunity where you may write it at home, maybe perform it for your friends, but how often do you get the chance to express it? And what type of spaces would you like to see to allow for it?
I would like to see it in all spaces. So even with our group Spoken Word 501, we do a bi-monthly poetry reading every first and third Friday of the month. And we have an open mic where writers of all walks of forms could come and could express themselves and release, because it's very therapeutic for writers to release their works. Because many times we find that we have a lot of writers, they're writing, their works are good, but then because they don't get that chance to express it, sometimes they turn to self-destructive ways and continue destroying themselves. We're a society where we suffer in silence a lot.
Yeah.
So we try to have like different outlets around within Belize City, and also we try to have it in the other districts where everyone can get that chance to release, and it could, who knows where their writing could take you from there.
Yeah, yeah. And do you see new writers coming out more often now?
We see more writers coming out is just because, I mean, that's what I find ironic. We have social media, and as much as they say it makes us connected, we're very disconnected from the reality, because we have people or we have poets in the other districts who feel like they're the only ones doing it. And when they connect with different poets across, they say, hey, I didn't know that you exist. And from there, you start to build relationships and build bridges and see how you could do different collaborations and go forward from there.
Yeah. Now talk to us about all the people who are involved, and Adele, obviously in organizing it, you had to reach out. We have veterans like Grandmaster, River of Fire. Talk to us about how they felt about being a part of this event.
Oh, everybody was very excited because, you know, of their passion and love for what they do. And it's been a while since we've come together on the Bliss stage, right? I mean, the last time we had a show like this under the Belizean Poet Society, it was 12 years ago.
What?
12 years have passed.
Wow. What better time?
Yeah.
What better time?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And so since, today is March 9th, and we know we celebrate our national heroes, George Price and Philip Golson, and Belize's benefactor, Baron Bliss, it's timely that we shine a light on the contributions that they have made to help build Belize and establish Belize when they were our political leaders.
Now I know that this is more than just getting people to go on stage and perform their work. What are you hoping that this event can achieve?
My biggest thing is to inspire young people, because I started a campaign last year called MOFA Talks, Motivation for Action, and my emphasis is the youth. I want them to know that they can be the change that they want to see. I mean, on Wednesday, when we had the elections, I had a chit chat with this young man who didn't go to vote. And he said, you know, we need a leader like Hugo Chavez. I said, you can be that leader. You can be that Hugo Chavez. And, you know, it started to settle in, and he's like, yes, you know, I want them to see that. I want them to see the potential in themselves, you know, and many of our poets have pieces that inspire that kind of sentiment in them, that empowerment for them to believe in themselves and know that, you know, yes, there are leaders today that you might be unhappy with, but you know what, you guys are going to take on this baton, and you can be different. You can be a Philip Golson, you can be a George Price.
Now, Briheda, you're no stranger to being an artist that works towards social justice. And we know your artwork very well. Tell us about what people can expect when you get on stage as a spoken word artist.
It's more gentle.
Okay, let me try to process that one a second.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
It's a little bit gentle. I find it more intimate. I'm more shy, believe it or not. Well, I prepared a piece for specifically this night, so it's more capturing the spirit of what a hero is and looking at them and what they're really doing. And you know, you really think about, you know, listen to people who are fighting for you. Like, that's the hope I get by the end of this piece, and it's called The Burning Spirit. So we're looking at the spirit of a hero.
Are we working with only the national heroes, or are artists open to explore what represents heroism to them and other people?
Well, definitely, and some of them have chosen pieces that don't even deal with heroism. So, you know, you want to give people that flexibility to share what's on their heart to share. So although the theme is heroism, every piece won't be about that, and every poet won't be talking about George Price and Philip Golson and Baron Bliss. So you're in for quite a treat, actually, and it might sound like just some heavy stuff, but you're gonna have a few laughs in between too.
I can imagine. And tell us about everybody who's going to be on stage.
Well, I call them the Dynamic Dozen, and even though the flyer has 10 people, there are actually 12 presenters, poems from 12 writers. So here you have Kyo Assassin, you have Grandmaster, River of Fire, Harley Byrne, Delani Thurton, you have Adele Ramos, Azizi Hoy, Ansel Diego, Micah Gooding, Enja the Poet, Jacid X, Briheda, and George Price. Yes, he was a poet too. And he has a very famous piece called Limestone Pillars of Belikin, and so I'm going to be sharing that.
So that's going to be a recorded piece?
Of course, in his own voice.
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, wow. How did you find that piece of jewel?
Shall I say?
You have your research skills, I can imagine. Now, why do you think people should come out to the event? Why do you hope people will come out?
I hope they'll come out just to have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, that's the bottom line. Yes, it's poetry, we're celebrating heroes, but we want you to have a good time.
And for you two, what do you want to tell people what they can expect?
Well, they can expect the unexpected there, like I said, because we have different poets from different generations. If you really watch the list is a myriad of performers from previous generation and the new generation of writers. So it's just to show this sense of unity we have amongst writers, because many a times we have people that have our only tribal warfare, but we want to show people that we're unified as writers, and as much as we have differences amongst one another, we can come together for a common cause and bring forth something, and also have fun, because I mean, many people like to paint us as serious, but we're also having fun. I mean, this is our passion, and we enjoy doing what we do, so we just want to share that same passion with people and hope that inspires people to, in whatever discipline they choose to focus that passion on, to push it in that direction.
Yeah.
For me, I just want people to come out and see the beauty of art, not just, you know, in the visual aspect that I do it in, but in words, because it's very helpful, it's very healing, like everyone has said. And, you know, it's like it's an opportunity for you to come outside, come off the internet for a night, and come interact with real people,
with face to face.
You know, having real conversations, not petty ones on Facebook.
Have you heard each other's work?
Yes. Well, I've heard.
You started rehearsals and
Yesterday we had
Yeah.
an informal session, and then
Yeah.
today we're going to be doing some more. So yeah, we've been enjoying each other's work.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Now, what's key about this, and I think we have seen, Kyo just did his piece, but there is a performance art to it as well. You know, you have your beautiful words, and we're great when we put it down on paper.
Yes.
But standing in front of a crowd oftentimes and saying the thoughts that have been filtered directly from your mind can be hard. Does that ever get intimidating to you?
All the time. That's why I don't do it much.
Well, you don't get used to it. You always be nervous, but what you do is find confidence in knowing your piece. So when you step out in front of an audience, you have the confidence of knowing your piece. So knowing your content takes you a far way, and then with time comes experience, and experience takes you many places. I mean, from the work that we were doing, it landed us all the way in Livingston, in Guatemala. Our work took us all the way out there, and we went to Express. They were reading, and even when we were performing, some of us were performing, our style kind of influenced the Guatemalan writers to try the same thing, because traditionally they were, like, when they perform their poems, they read. So now they were applying, like, we kind of influenced a style where they could have another way of expressing themselves aside from just reading out aloud. Because what many a times you have, like, people come in to say, why go in on poetry reading and listen to people read? So now that will try find a way where you could bring it in a form where, yes, they could enjoy it.
Yeah. And sometimes people add in even music, a bit of drumming, a little bit of, some kind of music to help them set the mood. I see you have a performer.
Yes, the Girlfriend of Drummers,
Yeah.
Kule.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they'll also be on stage.
They will also be
throughout
on
the
stage,
night.
and the plan is for the drummers to accompany me when I do my piece called The Rebirth.
Oh, do we get a sneak peek of your
Oh,
piece
no.
today? That one you
Feeling a
must
bit
go
mean
to
today.
the Bliss for. And what are you hoping will happen after this? This is one event. You said it's been 12 years since you've had an
Yes.
amalgamation of artists on stage presenting their poetry. Do you want to make it perhaps a yearly event or even more frequent than that?
Well, that's a very good question. I want to pitch a challenge to our younger poets. I'm not so young anymore, even though I might look it. To take on the charge.
Yeah.
You know, it's important to keep the fire burning.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I'm a part of this and I'm leading this, but I also want them to prepare themselves to lead the charge and to take this, to carry this forward. I want to invite the young people who, whether you're in school or out of school, youth, to get involved, to get engaged and use the stage. Because traditionally, as Belizeans, we were people who loved to be on stage. Bev Smith, it happened Bev Smith in a poem.
I was going to ask you how old you are, because there's a certain generation that doesn't know her that well anymore.
Well, I had to do research into that poem because that was a poem that I constructed for a poetry contest in 2015. So I tried to, as much as we love to talk about women worldwide, I wanted to had a specific focus on Belizean women, because many a times, like I say, you always hear the George Price and the Philip Golsons, but many a times we don't talk about our own women. So that piece is something that I've written that is dedicated to different women. So as the year goes on and the theme changes, I try to incorporate different women. And like I had one that I wrote, but I haven't prepared it for performance yet, Mansa in Zinga, where I focus on Lida Vernon, because I wrote it last year, but we're still working on the performance aspect of it.
Yeah, nice. And these are the works that keep these people and their memory and their contribution alive. So you're hoping that the younger ones will take up the lead and ensure.
Definitely. That's my heartfelt desire.
I feel like Kyo is already doing that, though.
No, I mean, yes, he is already doing that, but I want to encourage him to continue, but there are others out there
To help.
who have the talent, you know, who could get engaged and who might want to, but don't know what avenues to pursue. And so maybe you want to share your contact for them to be able to contact
501?
501, well, they could get in contact with myself at 623 7321, or they could get in contact with Margaret Reynolds, whose number is 605-0735. If they want to get in contact for things that, if they get involved with 501, or if they want 501 to come to their district. Because we also try to go, as much as we focus in Belize City, we try to take our talent and everything into the other districts and share. So for the people who are supporting us from everywhere else and can't come to Belize City, we try to take our talents out to the districts and to the keys where we share, and then we try to establish like a small group where they could just have a space for themselves. And then when we link, like say when we meet up with them and we collab, then we just do one big thing, and you don't have to go into each district and building from the ground up. You already have someone in there spearheading or locking down their keys or their district, so to speak.
And I just want to say what I love about the 501 family is like, I was a supporter for like 2 years, and Kyo, he keeps encouraging me to go up and read. And, you know, he got me there finally.
Yes.
And I love that, you know, in 501 they encourage you, and, you know, they have their workshops. So like if you had a poem and it could have been a little bit better or make it tighter, they give you that outlet to do so, to be better as a writer and as a performer. So that's, I think, a great thing with 501.
Nice. So the show takes place on Saturday at the Bliss. Where can people get tickets? What time does it start?
Tomorrow, 7:30, it's going to start at the Bliss, and you can get tickets there at their box office, or you could contact us for tickets as well.
All right.
My number is 610-6582.
And my last question really just has to do with the people at home who are watching, who have something burning inside of them that they want to express. What's your advice to them about how to get it out on paper?
Just right.
Yeah.
That's a lot harder than people think.
But I want to add to that. You don't just have to get it out on paper, and that's the beauty of spoken word. You could take your phone. Most phones have a recording device. And just hit record and just express yourself. Not everybody might like the pen and paper thing. You might just be somebody who's into the spoken word. And so you have that option as well. But the important thing is to express yourself in a way that you're comfortable.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to it. Of course, it takes place once again Saturday, March 10th at the Bliss, starting at 7:30. You have 12 artists going on stage. It's definitely something you don't want to miss. And there's also a Garifuna drummers set that will be included as well.
Definitely.
Thank you for coming in and sharing the details.
Thank you for having us.
We have one more performance before we close off.
Yeah. I'll sacrifice myself for Bree.
We'll always keep you on edge. Okay, so you can go on over there and get ready for your closing performance, and we'll be back in a few, so stay tuned.
Okay. All right, this piece is entitled Belizean Pride. I am the roar of cannonballs cascading across St. George's Key, sinking Spanish ships. I am the roar of cannonballs cascading across St. George's Key, sinking Spanish ships. I am the spirit of Nachan Khan wandering in the forest. I am the words of Samuel Haynes speaking up for the voiceless. I am born of mahogany, baptized in the Saboon, with the heart of a segunda thumping in my chest, to the drums of my fathers who bled for my hue, my right to be, my right to live and be free in this tranquil haven of democracy, where our children bask in harmony. Many cultures, one country. Yada for we Belize, a pepper pot of endless bounty, from the luscious foliage of the mountain pine ridge to the milky sands of Half Moon Keys. The birds they sing to the Carib Sea, kissing its shores in infinite poetry. I am the songs from mahogany camps dancing over an open flames after a long day. A proud maroon from Gales Point, Manatee, where freedom and the sambai play. Throughout the river valley, broke down a king, I could still hear Mr. Peter's accordion playing. I am the life of Leela Vernon, her blood in every Belizean. Culture transcends the skin. Never forget where you come from. I am the passion of Nurse Singh and Vivian White, caring diligently for our people without thoughts on a penny. I am the nerve of Antonio Soberanes, standing up for every worker. The soul of independence through Price and Golson. I am you, Belizeans, and you are me. We triumph over challenges and renew our resolve. From this noble spot, I pen this poem. Belize, my heart and my home.